I was born ready. Well, I hope the Canelo man fans were born ready too, because Stephen A. Smith just cooked. Canelo payday, you want payday? Alvarez. This is not a pretty sight for the Cinnabons. People are growing tired of Canelo's antics, the way he is moving, the way he's leading the charge in the throne. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, Stephen A. Smith, shout out, blast from LeBron James. Shout out to Stephen A. Smith. The man just caught a body. Stay tuned to in this video. We'll listen to what he had to say, his rant about Canelo versus David Benavidez. Quick preamble from me. I told you so. Simply. I've been telling y'all for years how Canelo moves. A lot of the Canelo fans, they say, oh, you're hating. Oh, it doesn't make sense what you're saying. Now the world sees it, sees how Canelo's moving, especially in regards to David Benavidez, who is a top fighter and a top guy in the division. Canelo's holding the belts hostage. So really my job here is done. Like, I think some people, they're like turning to me like, man, you're going to cook Canelo some more. I've been telling y'all this for years, and now the world has just caught up to Boxingego. So for me, nothing is new. Like, for me, this is just another day in the office. This is new to some of y'all because y'all didn't believe me, right? But Canelo's been moving like this, handcrafting and selecting certain opponents that he chooses, and that's what it's been. So now that the world sees it and hears him say he wants $150 to $200 million, and these types of things, it's not really a surprise when I've been telling you. It's like one of those disaster movies, right, in Hollywood, where there's this smart scientist and he keeps warning everybody the fault lines are about to, open up, and there's going to be a massive earthquake and all these typhoons, and it's going to be catastrophic. It's going to be something the world has never seen. And everyone's like, oh, you're just paranoid, right? And then as the movie develops, exactly what was prophesized comes true. That's exactly what's happened on my channel, because I am the best in the business, and it's not even close. Let's take a listen to what Stephen A. had to say about Canelo. And without further ado, this is Stephen A. Smith. Roll the clip.
Canelo Alvarez, you are elite, you are big time, no doubt about that. But it is clear with what you're saying that you are ducking Benavidez, not because you haven't.
Oh, he said it is clear as day that you ducking the man.
No doubt about that. But it is clear with what you're saying.
Be clear.
That you are ducking Benavidez, not because you haven't fight him, but because of the words that you're using. He's nothing. Ooh. He's nothing. You know better. You know better. Fight that man. That is the fight.
He said,
fight. You know better.
He says, you know better. Why are you talking to him like a child? Like a child that got F's on their report card. He said, you know better. You know better. Fight that man.
Better. Fight that.
Hey, yo.
Because of the words that you're using. He's nothing.
He nothing.
He's
man.
Nothing. You know better. You know better. Fight that man. That is the fight we want to see. Facts. With you. We don't want to see a fourth fight versus Triple G. Oh, we don't want to see you fight him, but because
he cooking him. You are witnessing the cookage. He said we do not want to see a fourth fight with Triple G. Hell no, guys. Hey, Max's guys, this big drama show is punches nothing. Bro, we don't want to see that. Talk to him, Stephen A. Talk to him.
The words that you're using. He's nothing. He's nothing. You know better. You know better. Fight Fight that man. That is the fight we want to see with you. We don't want to see a fourth fight versus Triple G. We don't want to see you fight another one of the Charlos. We don't want to see Terrence Crawford moving up 3 weight classes to fight you. We want you to fight right where you are against that dude in your weight division who's been begging for a shot at the crown.
Talk to him, Stephen A. Yeah, bro, that's bad. He getting cooked. He said, we do not want to see have no guys at Max Triple G4. Heck no. We don't want to see you fight the other Charlo. Heck no. And we don't want to see Crawford move up 3 weight classes. Let's analyze this for a quick second. Who else has been saying that with a public channel, over 300,000 subscribers? Me. That's who. I try to tell y'all. Some people are amping up the Crawford fight. Why would you amp up the Crawford fight when Benavidez is of the weight class? He's a former champion with the real belt in that division. Now he has the interim belt, so I guess he's 3-time, but you guys get it. And Crawford would have to move up multiple weight classes. It's just, it doesn't make sense. This is not a video game. Even if you give Crawford a shot, what if he loses? What if he gets knocked out? You know? So we just wasted our time. Look at the Jermell Charlo fight. And I'm not comparing Crawford because he has his own style, his own skill set. But what I'm saying is we watched a guy move up 14 pounds and really couldn't do nothing with Canelo and couldn't hurt him. And Canelo like ate his shots. And it was really one-sided and it was a waste of time. So why do I want to see a guy from an even lighter division move up to fight him? It just, for me, it doesn't make sense.
See a fourth fight versus Triple G. We don't want to see you fight another one of the Charlos. We don't want to see Terrence Crawford moving up 3 weight classes to fight you. We want you to fight right where you are against that dude in your weight division who's been begging for a shot at the crown. David Benavidez deserves that. Anybody who respects boxing knows he should be the man in the ring going up against you. Handle your business. This is part of it. Fight that man. Stop the bullshit. Canelo Alvarez, you are elite. You are big time. No doubt about that. But it is
cooked. Like I said, for me, I've been telling you all the same thing. Another day in the office. I'm not promoting the Crawford fight with Canelo. I mean, he could call him out all he wants. Canelo already told you why he don't want to fight Crawford, and I agree with him. He's not going to get credit for it. I'm not going to give him that much credit. You know, so it's really one-way traffic. If Crawford beat Canelo some kind of way, right? If he were able to beat him, then we'd give Crawford credit because he's the one assuming all the risk. But why would we give Canelo a whole lot of credit for beating a much smaller man? David Benavidez is getting impatient. He's talking a bit more. He was always respectful for Canelo. He's like, oh yeah, Canelo, he's done a lot. He's a legend. I want to fight him. I want to fight him. I think I can beat him, right? Benavidez told you this. He was respectful. He was keeping it peaceful. His daddy, his dad went a little bit hard at Canelo, but there's sometimes you have that. You have the trainer who is, a bit more vocal than the fighter. But Benavidez himself was always keeping it cool with Canelo and just, out of respect saying, hey, it would be a big fight. I feel the people want it. I want it. Let's go. Right? And he was saying this stuff to Canelo, and Canelo was making up excuses. And this how you know is cap. Notice Canelo's excuses keep changing. This is called lily pad behavior, where you keep leapfrogging from one thing to another, and it's like this big obstacle course to get a Canelo. John Ryder didn't have to do any of this. He just got to fight you in Mexico. I'm sure Benavidez will fight you in Mexico, to be honest. But why did he get the luxury of the Canelo sweepstakes? Why did Avni Eardrum, or whatever his name is, why did he get the luxury of fighting Canelo? So all these British fighters, they just got the Canelo look and the sweepstakes and the golden ticket to fight Canelo, baby. But then when it's a tough fight, like at the time, Demetrius Andrade, years ago, people wanted to see that. When Jamal Charlo was active years ago, people wanted to see that. You know, guys like Morrell, guys like Benavidez. Now it switches. It becomes, oh, they just want a payday. Payday, you want payday? I know that, you know what I mean? But none of the other guys who were definitely lesser known, they had less like sweat equity in the sport. People weren't checking for them. They got the Canelo fight, no problem. So the jig is up. Canelo needs to fight Benavidez. They keep trying to pawn Bivol better be a winner on Benavidez. He hasn't even had one fight at 175 yet, right? He's trying to get and sew this up before he makes 175 permanent. So we'll see. But the Mexican legends that I know, they didn't move like this. Marco Antonio Barrera and Eric Morales and one of my favorite fighters, Juan Manuel Marquez, you know, Salvador Sanchez, Julio Cesar Chavez. None of them were doing this. Canelo's doing this. And therefore, like, he could say, oh, I made more money than some of these guys and stuff, but the money don't buy you respect. You know, and a lot of guys get that confused, right? Like, there's guys who are doctors or, you know, lawyers, and they have a lot of money, but they're not good with women. You think you can buy a woman, just buy her trinkets and gifts and purses and perfume, and she might accept these gifts and allow you to do that. But then you got a person who, like, there's been times where I was broke and I pulled the same girl, and I'm broke. How I pull the same girl as a doctor, and I don't have the same things to offer. So, you know, money don't make the man. Man made the money. So Canelo, I mean, if that's what makes him happy, like, oh, I just got a bunch of money and people are willing to pay, and then that's it, you know, so be it. But in terms of how it's remembered and stuff, people are always going to remember the fights that could have been. And for Canelo, this thorn is not going to go away. And I'm only seeing it grow. I'm seeing people get more and more angry. Because here's the truth, for me at least, the Jaime Munguia, I'm not even mad at the fight. The only reason I'm mad at the Munguia fight is because he's not fighting Benavidez, which should have been the number one choice. But as far as a fight, it's definitely not Canelo's worst fight. But he seems to be picking around everybody but David Benavidez. It kind of reminds me of, like, imagine being in a class of 30 students, right? And the teacher writes this math equation on the board and said, does anyone know the answer to this equation? And you're like, pick me, raising your hand, pick me. And you're trying to flag her down, and she's looking around. No one has the answer? Nobody? Huh? You're like, what are you talking about? This person, none of these other students feel they have the confidence or they have the answer, so they're not willing to raise their hand. But then you got one kid who's just like, pick me, and like, oh, I know, ooh, you know? And the teacher's just overlooking and acting like they don't see that. That's Canelo Alvarez right now. Canelo Alvarez is acting like he doesn't see David Benavidez making noise and calling him out. And he's like, oh, you fight Juan Darrell. You fight nobody, guys. Do not disrespect. And he's doing all this stuff, but it's not disrespect. You're in a competitive sport. You should retire if you're not, you know, used to that or you don't want that. It's a competitive sport. What do you expect? People are going to want to see the best versus the best at a point in time. I'm not saying every fight back to back, but Canelo be squeezing in John Ryder's, no problem. They don't have to, you know, have impressive resumes. They could have several losses. They could be on long layoffs like Yildirim, right? Well, how come they don't have all these heightened standards? Well, how come Canelo don't need $150 million to $200 million to fight John Ryder? He's accepting way less. But then he's saying Benavidez is a nobody, but he wants like 4x, 5x the amount of money. And he keeps talking about his weight, which shows me he's concerned that Benavidez is too good and too big, because that's a weird comment out of left field if you weren't concerned about the man's size, right? He didn't say nothing about, oh, John Ryder is muscular or look at the size of his calves, because they were like neck and neck. You know Benavidez is good, plus he has a height advantage. He has long arms, and that's why he keeps saying stuff like these snarky comments like, only thing he brings to the table is 24 more pounds. But again, as I stated earlier in this video, the downside is Canelo fans even are starting to understand what he's doing. The excuses, he just leapfrog. He keeps, before you were saying those guys need to fight each other, that's what Benavidez is doing. Taking out the Caleb Plants, taking out Benavidez' last opponent, Demetrius Andrade, a guy Canelo avoided. So you told them to fight each other. He's doing that. Still hasn't earned your shot. You told him to get his resume up. He did that. Still hasn't got the fight. You said, oh, Jaime Munguia got this fight because he was being nice. Benavidez was being nice. You know, himself was being nice. Still can't get the fight. You know? And then now you're talking 150 to 200 million. Stephen A. Smith is right. You know, some people criticize his boxing takes. He's dead on the money with this. I've been telling you, because I am the best in the business, and it's not even close.